We went on a run after an electrical storm came through where one of the homes on Thompson Road got struck, second story, all brick home.
Okay, we are live whenever you guys are ready to start.
Oh,
Great.
Bring it.
And it's, took a thermal imager just to see
I didn't.
if there's a hot spot.
So I'm
You staying there? Or you coming over here?
I will.
No, I'm just kidding. You can stay.
I'll be like everyone else. I've never done this before. Okay. So, I think, so my bottom line is less $225 than 2026. So this is my, I think, sixth budget that I have submitted, and it has always been the same or less. So the things that I made changes to, I increased my SRI postage. It seems like we just have more people on tax sale that we have to notify, so I've increased that. To do that increase, I decreased my part-time by a little bit. I have not used that money this year yet. Since switching to Lao, we really did not have to utilize that as I had initially thought, but now we are gonna have to use some. Because the state has changed our deductions, and when I did decrease a space in my office and have the one person that does all the property transfers and everyone assists in deductions, and she also does the splits now. It's just a lot because we're having to refile every single disabled veteran deduction this year. So, I've been personally working on them with Faith to get those done. Brittany's been spending a lot of time on it, but I think I am going to open it up and bring someone in the office for maybe a few weeks, if even that, just to get all those applied and notes put on the system to get us through the end of the year. I did increase my association dues because it is a percentage of what everyone's salaries are. Or it's a percentage of mine. It's 1.5% of my salary, plus there's a fee for everyone, the girls that I add. So we typically just pay that and then transfer out of one of my other lines, but instead I just went ahead and moved that money this year. In 2026, we went live in Lao. We streamlined our work with financials. We entered an agreement with TMA to do an in-depth homestead audit to protect the tax base. With all the changes coming, 2027, I have no big plans for any kind of changes. We've kind of changed stuff every year since. My main thing is I believe it is very important to retain a gap in pay with the auditor's office employees and the other courthouse deputies. Our work and responsibilities are not comparable. A lot of offices believe that they are. My employees have a lot of stress put on them, and they were willing to take the additional amount of work on for us to reduce our staff to save the county money. And I think it's important that that gap is there. I also on the table prepared averages from the fact book. I've included the average staffing numbers for the offices in the courthouse, and my office is able to do everything that it does operating on less than average staff, as where all the other offices are doing their jobs with more than the average of other counties our size.
Didn't you do a staff reduction? Was it 24 or?
In 24, we did a staff reduction when Diane retired. And myself, Tabitha, and David Sutter are the only ones that have ever voluntarily done that, I believe, to get that raise for our employees. Do you guys have any questions about? I still have, so I have my county general budget, and then I also still have under all others fund 1181.
That's someone else.
Under all other.
Yeah, it's a tab,
Oh, thank you.
look at your tab.
I continue to supplement my transfer GIS specialist. $10,000 of her salary out of this
What's the
one,
number, 1125?
1181.
I found them, see.
There we go.
Have
So-
we always in that, the office supplies, for example? I mean, have we always had that extra, I shouldn't say cush, but separate from obviously office supplies, which certainly are going
So-
to be used.
I took, I reduced my office supplies from county general and put this over here in case if I ever needed it to lighten the county general load.
And obviously your ask for county general for office supply this year is the same as last. You spend them, yeah.
We still
I'm
haven't
looking
really
at-
got that full effect yet in the fact that we're not writing as many checks. We're not buying as many envelopes. I couldn't tell you the last time we've had to buy envelopes because we have made all the changes
That's
to
what
go
I
to electronic
checks, and
payments.
that's where I kind of thought if we needed to, if office and county general never
Right.
was there, could potentially even be cut a little bit, but.
So I do buy about $500. I try to use this $500 over here for paper. Cause I think the majority of our paper use is probably when our property transfers come in, we make a copy of that deed so that Jessica has a copy. When the report comes back from the recorder's office for her to do those transfers. In addition to this, all of my staff now have the ability to work from home. I have found that it's good to be able to give them the flexibility when a kid comes up sick and they have to leave in the middle of the day and they're short on time, that they're able to log in and finish tasks. We do not make it regular practice to work from home like once a week or anything, but we have that flexibility if need be. And I was able to purchase all that equipment out of finding people that were fraudulently claiming homesteads. So in the amounts that I was able to recoup from us finding that, there's a fund called Auditor Ineligibility. And I paid for, I upgraded my computer this year, and Jessica and Marie, oops, I offended the first ruler. Two other positions received their computers, as where my financials were the only people that had computers before that were able to take home. But
I'm sure reviewing the homestead is like a continuous type thing that you,
it is, it never fails. I have one on my desk right now that we actually stumbled across that, someone called in about a neighbor's property and said, I think it's being rented out. And the people the actual owners had passed away and their children are renting the house out. But if they do not pass away in our county, and so it's hard sometimes when people pass away, like in Louisville, we don't always receive reports. And if the family doesn't transfer the property, or if they do not come in and tell us, then we just do not know. So in those cases, state law says I can go back 3 years and bill them the difference and a 10% penalty. And that's what I've been doing because the Indiana code says within 60 days of someone passing or moving, they are supposed to report it to us.
so 10% of what? The fee or what amount? The assessed amount? Or-
10% of the difference.
Exemption.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So most of these tax bills double if not triple when a homestead is removed. So, I look for several people. I'm sure that I'm confident that we have most of them, but I feel like we'll end up catching several people when we do this audit.
No community should know you're not stalking obituary stuff.
No, like, and at what point do you, as we come across some and we wonder about it, we do go to the obituaries and look and search names. We do, try to do our due diligence. If we know someone has passed, we go ahead and put that note on and remove it for them if we can to prevent something like this from happening. But if you're using the property as a rental, then you're making money off of it and you probably should pay your share of taxes.
I'm just gonna ask, cause I obviously wrote myself a note, but it's a-okay to ask here. I'm not opposed at all to what was stated with the fact that for their job duties, your supervision, your expectations, and the ability with a computer to be able to work from home, that's happening. We live in a world where that can happen for some and not for the others, and that's a-okay. I remember when that was first became an issue at the hospital, and some folks took a stand and said, oh, no one can work from home because that's not fair, because a nurse can't work from home. I'm well aware a nurse can't work from home unless she decides to take a nursing job that's a work from home position. But that doesn't mean somebody else can't. With that said, I know, for my full-time employer now being under the umbrella of Norton, we not only have a Norton work from home policy that has to be agreed to and signed, but if your department is in a position where you may, for example, be permitted to work from home 2 days a week, for example, it's a separate department policy that you have to agree to, whether it is that I have adequate workspace, that I have, stable internet, and that, that's at my expense, not, of my employer's expense.
Right.
That I'll have my camera on during Zoom meetings, etc. I'm not aware, do we, obviously, is this a Heather White question, do we have a county
We
work from home
do.
policy?
So we do have a listing in the the handbook that you can work from home if you have a written agreement with your department head. So in my office, it's for emergency purposes, and we have something signed, and it's in their personnel files in HR.
Right, and I knew that was something you would have
Right.
covered, I had not, that was new for me.
Yeah.
So I just, again, especially if there were some other positions that felt like they could also do that,
So-
I just wanna be consistent, I don't know if that was something.
So the
that
reason
was-
why I thought it was a good thing to add to my employees. So for years, I was the only one that processed payroll, and I was the only one that knew how to submit that file. And my family had to take vacations. We had to do everything around the pay schedule of the county. So, by doing this, I know it fell perfect this year, but last year my payroll clerk was able to submit the payroll while she was on vacation. And that made, the difference in her being able to go on her family vacation with her family from out of town. So, we don't always make the most money working for the county, and flexibility has always been our perk. So when I had the availability to do this so that they could. That's why we do it. And they just clock in, since we've added AOD, they can
Yes.
clock in
Mhm.
anywhere, and it drops a pin where they are, and. So that's brought a whole new level of flexibility with our office as well. And being able to watch and properly manage the comp time from accruing. Obviously, I don't want them working, clocking in and working all night long to rack up time. We do a flex policy in our office. They have opted to not take lunches. So they take a half day once a week so that no one is accruing comp time for their lunch hours. And I know not all offices are doing that, and that's a little frustrating that you should. If you don't have to be at work and you're not taking your lunch, then the department head needs to probably step up and make them flex their time out so that we're not building a comp time balance. But I properly managed that so that no one's holding a large amount.
That's obviously historically been a significant issue for the county, with some departments building up far beyond even trackable kind of hours. I mean, I know a lot of us in this room were floored when we finally got a handle on
This case.
the volume of comp time and the tens of thousands of dollars that people just expected to be paid out.
Right.
So obviously it's so much better now as far as the policy in place and where that sits as far as staffing and expectations for supervisors. But
Right. And
some departments are managing that better than others, obviously, but it's still bad.
yeah, overall, it's still better. There are some departments that maybe, and that's another thing, we see all of that because I don't know that other offices realize it, but we are overseeing their budget. We are overseeing their pay time come in. We're overseeing the property transfers come in. We have our hands in everything that comes through the county, and just to compare our work, I would encourage you guys to reach out to AIC, to the State Board of Accounts, the DLGF, and ask if they're similar. They're just not similar to
I
ours.
already know.
Yeah.
So I would encourage my fellow council members, we all became liaisons to certain departments. Just ask, how you doing? Just kind of a little bit of an inquiry. How are things going on your comp time? Are you managing that well? Are you keeping that under control? So, just ask how they're doing with that. Kind of put a bug in their ear on that. Make sure they're keeping it manageable.
Right.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Ask your training, what's that for? Or your travel? Is
Our
that
travel.
all gas?
So it would be gas. So the reason I historically have not always had a training line or travel line, but we have it now because we are with Lao. They have a year-end meeting every year for financials and for tax. And essentially, so if you're going to state called meetings, that's paid unappropriated from county general, and there's Indiana code to make that the case. But these are not state called meetings. These are trainings above and beyond where our software is hosting a 1-day class on everything that's changed as we move into tax season or we move into payroll tax season.
And does everyone go?
So on my SRI, sometimes me and Marie go. This year we did not go because there were not that many changes that affected us. But the year before there had been a new software come out. So we went to that one so that we could learn about that. Then on our loud training, I typically send myself. Actually, normally I try to drive so that I can just pay it out of elected official training and it not come from county general and just take all the girls with me. Which I take my financial girls one time and then I take my tax girls the second time. So at no point in time do we leave the office completely vacated, I guess.
Lao's been a good thing for you guys, hasn't it?
It has.
I remember I think it was the first or second year y'all were talking about making that transition and all the training and there were some unknowns there. And a lot of counties were using it.
Mhm.
So this has been a net positive for us, right?
It's been very positive. It has, I think the software alone is what made it to where I was able to cut a position in my office. But also we were able to, at one point in time, we would have, what do you think, 10 boxes of claims at the end of the year. And now we have like two boxes is all that I'm putting in the basement. So it not only helped staffing issues, but it helped our storage issues. So I have years of stuff that I'm waiting for that retention period to get up, and then I'll have more room in the basement than I ever thought was possible down there.
The 1138, what is that?
1138 is Coombe Cap Development. So it's in the Coombe funds.
Yes.
So I've always had a supply or a equipment line there. That being said, it was a lot higher than last year because we had discussed possibly you guys getting iPads or something of that nature. And we really haven't moved forward with that because I kind of hit a brick wall of after we discussed it, then several of you reached out to me that was not as interested in it after we got the actual cost back. I do have a cleared old iPad that is going to be, they're no longer used from election. And I'm going to talk to Leap about the possibility of maybe putting your guys' meeting packets on those and then you guys having access to your email only on it. And then everyone could use a county email on that iPad and you just know to check everything there. Like I said, it's an older model, but I think we could probably still use it for that basic function of pulling up. And Tabitha said that like if someone local in the building isn't going to use them, they'll end up going for on the auction for hardly.
That's what I was
So
gonna say.
if we could repurpose them, I'm still exploring that in between other things. I've tried to add things
Just
on
the
it.
one line item in the 1138.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is at 11,000 and I'll tell you, it's historically it's 1,000. But it's still that amount, with the potential if we upgraded equipment for you guys and the commissioners.
Anybody else have any more questions for Heather? Thank you, Heather.
I do. How many of those pads does she have?
And she has several,
That's what I thought.
like 26 maybe or something.
They're over in the annex building.
So I have one right now testing around with it. And I think Sarah has one right now. Kind of exploring different possibilities that we could repurpose them for. If we can repurpose and not have to purchase, then that would be great. Coming up on next year, I am on the list that 2 or 3 of my desktops are starting to get to the point that they might need to be replaced. Since everyone has a new laptop, I'm going to see if I can't just buy docking stations and move in that direction for them instead of replacing.
So,
And that way I already have bought the new computers and then we'll be up to date in my office.
Yeah.
And that's what I went to this last time with my laptop instead of,
Big cost savings, yeah.
what'd you say, it's 3? Is that for 27?
I think it's 27 where's on the list. The only one that I might have to replace, I do have a counter. If you guys have not been in my office, I repurposed the clerk's counter and I added a counter so that we have a place to help citizens as they come in, and we do have a counter computer so that in the event if my property transfer clerk's in the middle of a property transfer, she doesn't have to clear everything out and mess up what she's doing. She can still come around and do a receipt if she needed to. Cause we do have those pesky, trash card sales in the middle of the day, right when you're in the middle of doing something. It never fits. It's like everyone goes to lunch. I'm all alone. I'm working on something. That's when we're going to sell a trash card.
I know we haven't had a lot of discussion, at monthly meetings regarding, it is nice to hear updates, especially during what you started a couple years ago, being on site, obviously trying to get out
Yes.
to the people to sell those trash cards. And sometimes we'll hear updates about how many thus far have been sold. Obviously, at this point in the year, we didn't sell a ton of them. But we haven't discussed
yeah.
any change in that fee structure for next year. Is there anything that we should kind of be watching for in the next few months?
So Sarah and I work closely together with the trash cards or the trashy situation, I guess you should say. The trash truck drivers have been complaining that there are some people that are coming weekly with trailer loads of bagged household trash. Because right now the limit is bagged household trash. So they've kind of thrown out like, hey, they might put a limit on this one day, but
They're bringing their friends' trash with them.
Yes.
or
Yes, they do.
like, it's to the point that there might even be some people buying a $60 trash card and charging their neighbors $20 to haul their trash. Like, it's a sizable amount. And the citizens, get frustrated with it because the people that are honest and really just bringing their household trash, they are frustrated that there's others doing
I've got
this.
an earful.
And then the people that are doing this, when you confront them, then they kind of get a little nasty about it too. So it's
Andy sees it where we go.
And you're hearing this from our drivers.
from the drivers, and honestly, we see it whenever we go out to
I
sell.
witnessed it.
I
Yeah,
kind
that
of
trash card, man.
like, this isn't someone just picking up their child's trash, you know, like, this is,
Andy goes, it's like a
Mounted.
neighborhood
yeah,
contributed to that trailer.
mounted trash.
And he goes, it's the same guy every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's always one rotten egg that ruins everything.
It eliminates the lines, start to build as a result.
Right,
Mhm.
so I don't know what the answer is with that. I
I
know
think placing a limitation to it.
there's gonna have to, and even if you put a fairly high limit, I think it's still gonna keep you from having those people.
Well, there's a limitation, I think, if you live in the city limits.
Mhm.
So I don't see why we couldn't put a limitation.
Mhm.
I also think that it would, like I've said, I live in the county and I have for a long time. I think that $60, well, when we started out, it was a lot cheaper than that.
It's 25. I hear.
Yes, but I'm saying that I think that that
Oh,
is very,
expensive.
very, very cheap.
Yes,
Compared to Rumpkin, some of these other places.
Which is what I
So-
pay for, and if I have a second bin, I have to pay more. Yeah,
right,
when I do
so
one
we're
bin.
hearing
Yeah.
that the fuel surcharge fees are going crazy on Rumpke and Best Buy, or Best Way, or whatever it was.
Mhm.
That's gross.
Yeah, and we do get several people that come in about mid-year and they say, I'm quitting going, you know, do I get a discounted card and we're like, no, it's $60 for the year, you know, but it's still, even at 6 months, $60 is,
Yeah.
It's cheaper than what they're
One of the
going.
complaints about limiting, you know, they just have to go more frequently. They're saying they're saving it for 3 or 4 weeks.
right,
Yeah,
Well, they're
no,
there
no, I was
every
curious, Ray said, did you pay, you're just Hanover trash? Yeah.
It's 13 a month.
Yeah.
13 a month,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so just,
and you
4
probably are
bags.
limited to 1 can, right, or? do you-
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 can,
yeah, same thing when I had this way.
so,
So probably solutions to the,
and
I know your office hears a lot of those complaints.
we have saved a lot of money throughout the years by not paying a subcontractor company. I know, and I'll speak for Sarah's behalf. She gets a lot of the calls when the trash truck breaks down, when all these things. We are in need of having a backup truck or having a new truck and our existing being a backup.
Mhm.
Because one truck running 5 days a week for 5 years now,
Yeah.
it's getting wore out.
As a positive, the communication often takes place when there's gonna be a change in the schedule that
Yeah.
is, I think, a positive.
Yes, so that's been one of our more recent initiatives the last couple of years. We have a through the RAID system, you text
Mhm.
trash, the word trash to a number, and we're able to communicate them when we're there to sell trash cards, when things are changing, if the trash truck's running late or not there due to weather, holiday, just those little reminders.
I think go on the website too.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
it's
on Facebook page,
shared
yeah,
all
that's.
over Facebook, yeah,
Well,
but
I
I
just
kind of
wondered,
like the.
didn't wanna bring up trash, I
extension.
just wondered if we might be
Right.
hearing.
No, that's
more
the
next couple
extension of
months.
our office that, you know, we're loosely involved in that one as well. And golf cart permits, we get a lot of those. We,
Speak to
we
that.
try to make them match our trash card too, so that we all know what color we're on. So,
Anything else, guys? No. Thank you, Heather.
you're welcome. And then Amanda, I think is the next one, and she has had a emergency that she's not going
Yeah.
to be here.
Yeah, we were aware of that.
Okay.
Is that Brandon?
Brandon.
one of the
It's
things.
dark out there, light in here, all I could see was the silhouette of your
Is-
body.
Pacing like a leopard out there.
Commercial reassessment for taxes purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how we kind of talked about like for revenue?
Oh, yes. So, the company that does my homestead audit, they also do, a personal property audit.
Yes.
And it's at no cost to the county unless they find someone that's doing something wrong. And then that 40% basically of what they find, the difference would in fact go to them at that point. But in my eyes, whenever I see it, that was lost revenue that we were never gonna see unless we
That's right.
mistakenly stepped over that. So,
I just think that that would be a good idea for us because of the new tax.
yeah.
I mean, that would get us additional revenue that we have been just kind of overlooking for a while.
Right.
So as, property tax changes and decreases, we have another, resource to grab some revenue for the county so that we're not, you know, doing staffing reductions or the services to the community as far as roads and that type of thing is not impacted.
And I think the assessor left everything the same on her budget, except
Yes.
she did go ahead and increase salaries on her line.
6% one, couple lines.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, could we request Amanda or before she leaves, to come to one of the meetings, so we could talk to her about that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Tucker.
Hello, how are you guys?
Good.
Ready?
We're ready.
I did end up deciding to provide you guys with a letter. I'd like to read it. I know sometimes I don't get the opportunity to come in and brag as much as I do when I go to the commissioner's office. So this is a letter of what we've been up to. And so I'll start with that. In March of 2024, I applied and was eventually offered the opportunity to be the executive director of 911 for Jefferson County, and thus far it has been a true honor. At that time, I had about 7 years of combined experience as a telecommunicator, center training officer, a supervisor for multiple agencies. Along my career path, I worked for the Kentucky State Police, Indiana University Police Department, Switzerland County Sheriff's Office, and back to Jefferson County. I felt, and I still do feel, that my experience outside of Jefferson County made me amongst one of the best candidates for the role. I knew what worked, what didn't work, what we could replicate here to make sweeping improvements to our Jefferson County 911. I am very proud of all that we have achieved and all that we will achieve together in the future. One of my proudest achievements is the level of training each telecommunicator receives in Jefferson County. If asked, I'm confident that every dispatcher would either gladly or begrudgingly tell you the amount of training they receive, though why ask when the proof is in the pudding? A majority of the staff at Jefferson County 911 holds an excellence in dispatch certification. This certification requires you to take a set of courses and demonstrate your commitment to continued education. We have 2 who have attended the Center Manager Certification Program and received the certification. The CMCP certification is a rigorous process in which involves knowledge tests, project management, public speaking, and much more. We have 2 certified emergency number professionals, also known as EMPs. For reference, there are 1,939 EMPs in the entire world, only 51 in Indiana and 2 now in Jefferson County. Since 2024, we have utilized many thousands of dollars in training that was free to us, some of which has allowed us to achieve some of these prestigious certifications. Another significant achievement for Jefferson County was the implementation of Comms Coach by GovWorks. Comms Coach is an artificial intelligence powered quality assurance and training platform that we implemented about a year ago now. When I transitioned into this role, there were remnants of a quality assurance and quality improvement program that had long since been abandoned. Utilizing Comms Coach to assist our quality assurance and quality improvement program has been very beneficial to our operations. We now have empirical data on our performance level, both individually and as an emergency communication center. Through the implementation of this quality assurance platform, we have garnered attention statewide. In 2025, at the Indiana Digital Government Summit, we won Best Application Serving the Business Needs at the local level. In 2026, the statewide 911 recognized Jefferson County's leadership in technology innovation and invited me to participate in a panel discussion at the Indiana 911 Directors Summit on implementing artificial intelligence and emergency communication centers. The staff at Jefferson County 911 continues to bring positive recognition to Jefferson County, whether through advanced training or implementation of technology that assists us in our goal of providing the best service to Jefferson County that we can. On one example, since obtaining her ENP certification, Emily Kirchval is now the chair for the APCO, which is the International Association of Public Safety Communications Officials. The APCO Best Standards of AI Usage in the 911 Center Committee, in which they will draft the first ever international standard for AI use in the 911 Center. She has also joined many other committees, including the Future Think Committee, which we both sit on. I'd like to end with one thought. We have accomplished all this with what we have through finding good opportunities. Department heads and elected officials have become good at doing more with less. Jefferson County Public Safety has additional needs that exceed our normal budgets. However, many acknowledge the financial uncertainty and refrain from asking for more. Increased financial investment in 911 and public safety will be needed sooner rather than later. With increased investment, I am confident that Jefferson County, Indiana would be second to none. So I've also provided you guys with an Excel sheet that I keep, makes it easier for me. And I've provided a little sheet as well. On the 1222 funds, we moved 4,000 from part-time to training. I no longer have any part-time people. It was a decision. It's easier to keep track of full-time people than it is to also keep track of part-time people. So in the event that we need additional coverage, I'll offer someone the availability to take a shift and I would pay them from that line item. We did move to 4001. And so I guess a brief explanation. In 2024, when I took over, the 911 board asked that we use some of the existing funds in the 1222 funds to kind of burden the local localities a little bit less, and I understood that would just be a short time, and now is the time where it's reached the level where we need to start putting some of those responsibilities back on the localities, and keep that little bit of fund that we have for emergencies. So that's why I've moved the PERF to the 4001 fund. Radio support, we're back to our annual maintenance agreement. The prior year, we budgeted for some extra projects that we didn't go through with. On utilities, the increases into anticipation of the CAD servers being relocated. I expect that they're going to draw a lot more electricity than what we currently do. So I'm hoping that increases enough to offset that. Telecom services, we reduced, and I did that based on the prior year's expenses. So a breakdown of our training, about 16,000 is used on our technology platforms and training memberships. So only 11,000 of it goes to the actual dispatchers in the courses, but we also utilize free opportunities to us as well to supplement that. The recorder, we're back to $0. Last year was a one-time purchase, and our maintenance is provided by a radio vendor. The supervisor CTO, we moved that to the 4001 fund. And office supplies, I will be replacing some aging computers. I've done a little bit, I've done 4 so far this year. I think I need to do another 4 next year. And then on the 4001 fund, I've asked for an increase on office supplies. So we provide the printer and ink for KDH EMS. There's been an increase in demand, and so we've increased that to where we think it would be sufficient. And then the postage we reduce. There's not a continuous need for postage. And if there was, I would use it out of the 4001 office fund or office supplies.
By us going to EFT payments, it should have reduced everyone's postage, but it's a little.
Yeah. We rarely send anything.
Right,
Even records requests, I mainly do.
Right.
I know in the past we burned out like CDs and.
we used to have
Mail it out.
huge stacks of mail, especially after our commissioners meeting. Now it's just like a couple.
And the office supply was one thing that had come out just because in 2025, we had almost 6,000 budgeted for in the 12-22, sorry.
Sure.
I was wondering. And then, we went to 16 and now it's just 20. I don't know, I used to be at the place of aging computer, but it's a substantial jump in the last few years.
So when I got that, I reached out to Leap, and they provided a quote. It was near $17,000 to replace the four aging computers. So I wanted to ensure that we had enough to replace those.
Wait. And I wrote down just as you were talking. Appreciate obviously managing staff and shifts well, so that there's less of or eliminating maybe even the need for the part-time, which was substantial in years past prior to you being in this position. You did mention, but I want you to correct me. You said, so if we may have a current staff that picks up an extra shift, then we can pay them for that from the part-time line item?
Sure.
Is that, so I said that right?
Yes, so ultimately, some of these departments to keep their comp time balances low, because we know that we'll eventually have to pay that out, and if we don't pay it out at current rate, then they could technically hold that 2 or 3 hours for 2 years, and then it be at a much higher rate whenever it's paid out.
Right.
So, I know 911 utilizes paying out the occasional, keeping that comp time lower from their part-time budget, and the sheriff's department as well.
Legally, it wouldn't need to be paid if somebody's working beyond at an overtime rate.
It's calculated at time and a half. So comp time.
Paid from the part-time.
Right, so we
Gotcha.
pay the current rate, the hour is multiplied at time and a half. But only if they've actually worked 40 hours in that week or 35 hours in that week, whatever their normal is. So the timekeeping system keeps track of that as well, because I feel like in previous years, there were people that was like, they might have taken 2 or 3 vacation days, but they had to work 3 hours over. And they would put down time and a half for that. And legally, we don't have to pay time and a half because they didn't work their full 40 hours. So the timekeeping system keeps everyone on check.
Okay,
But, and then no one has to be the bad guy. It's the rule, and I'm not just the mean,
The computer told me to do
the
it.
computer says.
Yeah, but 12-hour shift thing, 24/7, just makes their staffing so much more confusing if you're used to, your regular 40, 35, 40-hour staffing.
You can't really flex it out very well.
yeah, you do, and you can't just go without staff, and, we've all been off for a few days, and you just come back and you just have to play catch up and work a little harder. It's an option in the world you live in, yes, somebody has to be here.
And dispatchers are in this weird position where state of Indiana recognizes us as first responders, but the federal government doesn't. So we're paid on a 40-hour weekly basis, not the 70, 80, was 84 hours every 2 weeks.
84 and 2 weeks or whatever. So we still give comp time after 40 for sheriff's department, but technically we wouldn't have to until it was at a higher threshold. But because of that, so federal labor laws say that you can't flex from 1 week to the other like they had previously done in their scheduling. So we had to figure out shifts that way.
Brandon, thank you for the appearance and the legibility of following this budget. It's very good. Do a lot of your employees still work like a 12-hour shift?
Yeah,
So they work 36 hours a week, is that correct, for the most part?
1 week is 36, and then the next would be 43. So there's well, if we have the opportunity to work a short day, 48 or 36.
Okay.
And congratulations on being asked to be a panelist.
Yeah.
That.
Well, I'm really excited for all that we've done and all the recognition that we're getting here, and I hope to continue being seen as a leader, especially in southern Indiana, southeastern Indiana. Sometimes you get left out of the picture, but we're trying to be loud and show that just because you are southeastern Indiana doesn't exclude you from all these things. So
Good job.
thank you.
Well, I have to say that there's been a big change since pre-2024 in your work.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. We do appreciate that. We appreciate the how you get us our information. I think the first year you came in, you actually asked for less, and that doesn't typically happen. And like Ray said, just the clarity of it, the transparency of it, and just seems like everything's going much better. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's a vital service, right?
Yep.
Is your turnover slowed down since before you started?
I would say yes. You still have some here and there, but
Yeah, I mean,
I would say we're not nearly as
not a revolving door anymore. That helps with keeping people trained.
yes, it does.
I just realized on Fund 4001, I put at the top the breakdown of how that is funded, and I put the current amount, but I didn't put that is paid from 1112 lit, in case anyone was curious.
Give me 1 second, I may have to say that one more time, hold on.
Okay.
This
So Fund 4001 is for county, city, and town per our interlocal agreement.
That's right.
We fund at 53.5%, the city funds at 43.5%, and the town of Hanover pays 3%. And then we budget our 53.5% out of lit 1112.
I like your spreadsheet.
Thank you. I gotta have.
It helps me. I go back over here, but. Yeah. Or have your last year one, so.
And that current interlocal. I thought, percent, I mean,
The Hanover?
yeah, I should probably know this, I'm sorry. It's not expiration, so to speak, I mean, unless one of the parties.
We rewrite
bring
it.
back to attention.
We recently rewrote it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that was recent,
Yeah.
okay, but
Adds up to 100.
it's in place till one of the three parties. Requests a change.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're. the Checks that come from the other two municipalities, those are coming, more
Regularly,
steadily than
yeah.
they were.
Yeah, so typically the end of the year, I have some trouble with them maybe being a little behind. And I have to make some calls, but I eventually get that paid in. And then I do not like the interlocal agreement because it says by the end of the year, I have to take that fund balance and divide it back out and pay it to the units as they have paid in. So if there's $1,000 left, I have to send 53.5% of $1,000 back to us and 43 to the city and so on. So I would love if they would be paid up by December 1st so that I could have that total at the end of that last payroll, so I could go out and make that check and do it. But a lot of times it's New Year's Eve or the day before that I'm walking down and picking up checks, receipting in and cutting a check back out and delivering it back all at once.
There isn't any AI hurdles that will affect you in the year to come. That you know, of, right?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything for Mr. Tucker?
I really like the the training expectation that you have with your staff. It grows them and makes your unit stronger, so kudos to you for getting that done. They do, I've been over there just work related and been over there and heard it and seen it firsthand, so.
Yep. Always trending, always doing something, so. Yes, either gladly or begrudgingly.
Yeah. It's a good thing. It's all a good thing. Learning.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Okay.
this was.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Bye, Brandon.
Hey, Faith should be here at 2.
I think I saw her.
Oh, come on in, Faith. My
Saw her.
Faith should be
Yeah.
here. I'm right here. We've been running ahead most of the day, so.
Good. How many do I need? 1, 2?
9.
Okay, I think I have enough for you guys. Packets.
I already told them a little about our initiative of getting all these new veterans deductions done.
So, yeah, I just did the July reports for the commissioners and I think we did like 118 last month. So,
Yeah,
property taxes.
yeah, just trying to get, we have a whole stack to actually put in our system. Just taking the time to add them all in and their notes.
Yeah.
And those were only the 100%. Now we have to go through.
Yeah. Plus, we've been doing them as we have appointments coming in, we've been doing them too, so hopefully that will reduce some of the 10 to 90s. We'll see.
Good to go, are you? I'm trying to think what her department, it's a weird one because it used to be 21 and it's not 21 anymore.
I just looked through the pages for hers.
Well,
It's after the.
Well, it's
It's
backwards
after,
of what,
Yeah.
yeah,
County extension, isn't
Yes.
I flashed past it somewhere.
It's after county
has
extension.
her letters,
Yeah.
put in for, employee requests and a software equipment request as well.
So last year was the first year the federal government hadn't got our GDX figures out on time. So, and again, it happened again this year, so we don't have updated GDX figures for 2025. So this top sheet, the veteran economic impact data, you can actually go onto IDVA's website and pull it off of there. This is for Jefferson County. It just gives you a snapshot of the total amount that we brought into the county as a whole, which was $22,253,660. 11,629,320 went to compensation and pension. 405,000 went to education benefits. 10 million went to Medicare, that is, VA healthcare. They also award grants and, especially adapted housing grants. Insurance indemnities, those are life insurance policies, which are 33,000. Our veteran population, and again, this is as of 2024, they're saying we have 1,598 veterans in Jefferson County. I don't particularly think that that number is actually accurate. And again, as soon as the GDX comes out for 2025, we will try and get that over to you. Like I said, last year was the first time it happened, and then this year it has not come out again. So what I did was the second report that I put in here was our annual report for last year, which just kind of gives you an overview of what we've done. So last September, we had the veteran transportation program dropped into our office's laps. So we've fully taken that over. And Victoria Shuck, she is our new office manager. She's doing a wonderful job. She's fully taken over the veteran banner project for us and has, she's fielding all the phone calls, and we already have a list of banner renewals and brand new banners for 2027. But she is also helping out with the veteran transportation side of it. So we purchased a brand new cell phone just for the transportation. We had some business cards made up. And so she is completely on board and is fielding those phone calls, and text messages and setting up all those appointments. We have quite a few drivers. We've got about 4 vehicles, so, we're doing pretty well. But again, all of our drivers are volunteers, so, summertime is a little tough, as well as those major holidays, with vacations and everything, but we're making it work. So last year we filed 1,641 service connected disability claims, 26 veteran pensions, 170 widow pensions. We did 56 county burials. We had 20 disabled property tax abatements. We signed 75 veterans up with VA healthcare. We did 224 records requests. And then state benefits, those are usually encompass burial and financial assistance. That's the other thing. The Veterans Council, for several years now, we have a small financial assistance fund to help fulfill the immediate needs of veterans within our county. And I'm talking those veterans that come in with the disconnect notices for utilities, are late on rent, mortgage, just need a little bit of help to get them through the rest of the week for gas or groceries. And that
Do you
fund
check
is,
with their trustee to see if?
we do, we usually have them, check with trustees and everybody else. But again, and I'm not gonna lie, veterans, we're the worst at asking for help. So by the time they come into our office, it's already a desperate situation. Like I said, 9 times out of 10, they've already got a disconnect notice. And so there is a military family relief fund from IDVA that's up to $2,500, but they're running anywhere from 30 to 60 days to get those grants approved. And if you've got a disconnect notice, you don't have time to wait. Or if you just need some money for gas or groceries to get you through the end of the week. We also, the Veterans Council is also, we've purchased, $50 Kroger gift cards to hand out to veterans who, again, gas, groceries. And so we are really busy. We saw over 2,200 veterans, almost 2,300 veterans last year in our office. We are also now, like I said, we've also taken on the veteran transportation, which has added additional phone calls in and out of the office, folks coming in and out too. So, but usually Vicky's able to handle that. Now she's only part-time. So, Anita's been picking up the slack on Fridays, making sure that the transportation phone's being answered and, rides are being scheduled to get our veterans to and from their medical appointments. The third thing that I've given you is, and this is from the state of Indiana, these are the new guidelines under Senate Bill 433. And the reason why we have requested a new line item in our budget for software and equipment is they specifically in here dictate what we need. Obviously, working computers. The computers in our office have not been updated. They're 10 plus years old. I've been in this position now for almost 9 years, and I know that those computers were there when Joe DeVito was there. And I'll give you an example. Victoria's computer, some days it turns on, some days it doesn't. So we definitely need some new computer equipment in. They're also requiring us to have, making sure all of our computer equipment is operational. They want us, we do have an office phone. We don't have a working cell phone for the office. We purchased a smart card reader for our PIV cards. We do have a fax scan machine. We did purchase signature pads for electronic signatures. They're wanting us to go fully paperless. And so we are almost 100% there. Again, we had a lot of files to go through and contacting those folks who wanted their paper files. We also implemented a secure email system. We have a lot of emails that go back and forth that has a lot of private and protected information in there. We've never had secure email, so we implemented that this year. As far as the computer equipment and everything, that's all I can think of. But now, it rests on our shoulders to make sure we have operational equipment. We did receive a grant from the city of Madison to put towards the purchase of new computers. That was $5,000. So I'm in the process of getting an estimate from our IT leap on new computer equipment and screens and everything. I think that's really about it. Again, Vicky's doing a great job. She comes in on her days off, even though she knows she's not going to get paid for it. She absolutely has taken like a duck to water with our office. All of our veterans and families that come in feel welcome. She has organized our calendars and our schedules and keeps us steady and going. But again, she's also taken over the banner project for us, as well as she's now the main contact for the veteran transportation as well. We are busy still. That has not changed. And I just feel like it would be beneficial to have her on full time to be there to cover the transportation line, as well as everything else that she's doing.
They.
Yep.
You had shared with us in the past, and part of it, if I remember correctly, came from folks bragging on you and how wonderful and beneficial your office is, that veterans from other counties, even across the bridge, the state line, were coming to you for help because county, we even similar size than us, had maybe one part-time VSO, or it was an office.
That hasn't changed.
Yeah, 2 days a week. What
We've
are those
actually
numbers
taken
look
on
like?
more. I can get you that report. I want to say with Scott County right now, we have about 60 active veterans. Jennings County is probably close to about the same. Ripley County, Switzerland County is actually taking a few of theirs back. We do see a lot of veterans from Kentucky because they don't have a service officer like the state of Indiana does in every single county. They have regional officers that manage anywhere from 5, 10, 15 districts. So it's rare that they're able to get in with a veteran service officer. Again, if you're a veteran and you come through our doors, I'm not gonna turn you away. I just don't have that in me to tell a veteran no.
Yeah,
And I've heard other counties that are being overwhelmed from overflow from other counties, who have had to start turning veterans away. And again, I can't do that. I don't have it in me. It's not in my heart to actually tell somebody, I'm so sorry, but we can't see you or help you.
and I don't think anybody at this table wants that.
No,
Obviously, when we're looking
Yeah.
at, we've tried to help with increase in pay.
Yeah.
Part-time, obviously, third staff member, and now looking to bring that person full-time.
yeah,
Yeah, that's, I was just curious if we're talking dozens, and it sounds like it plural. from
it is.
neighboring counties.
And,
It's something.
so I looked at
I
everybody's
wondered if it
email.
has even been shared with the other counties.
Well, I will just say, last week Scott County had a huge meeting with their commissioners and a bunch of veterans. They're setting up. Kind of sounds like not really a veterans council like what we have, but more of a committee that overviews and gives information and I guess try and help the service officers there.
So I
in their own
called
county.
the other offices
Yeah.
because they were not accepting her signature
On the property
on
tax
the
form.
property forms, and we're still making them go to their own VSO.
Yeah.
So I kind of called out a couple counties and had that, and they said, well, we can, and kind of tried to back up to me, and say, and I challenged them to call IDBA and verify that information, and they've since then came back and said, we're sorry, and we will accept, anything that comes.
But to help
here."
with that out too, part of it was, well, we need a raise seal or no, you don't. But we went ahead and ordered a stamp, specific to our office that, it's Jefferson County government and it has, Jefferson County VSO on it to stamp these so that that part of the argument goes away with any other counties. No, Heather was fantastic because I let her know some of the issues we were having with some of the other counties not accepting the updated state property tax form. That is a requirement for every single disabled veteran to fill out. And trying to explain to the other auditor's office that I'm doing the same job that your service officer is doing. The only difference is that your veteran has come to my office and I have the verification on their information, which is exactly what your service officer is gonna have to do, except they're gonna have to try and get the file transferred over to look at the same information we are. So God bless Heather because she mentioned some of the issues and kind of went through some of the guidelines and kind of set them on the
So
straight
when
and
they
narrow.
find out how much work you're doing, it's
So-
kind of like a.
Well, in fact, I just had 2 veterans from Jennings County come into our office and just update their property tax form. So, yeah. So when I let them know that if they had any issues and I gave my business card, I said, let your auditor's office know, and to call my office if they have any issues. I said, but they shouldn't moving forward because we did have a conversation. So
Yeah, I'm hoping
hopefully.
that those auditors also, when their VSOs come to do their budget requests, they ask them why, why are people not able to get an appointment time with you? Why, and because they need to be representing their veterans
Absolutely.
in the same.
And right now, we are almost a full month booked out for appointments.
And that's what I was gonna ask, are there any local Jefferson County veterans getting frustrated because we rarely to never hear any complaints about your department, but because they're having to wait or they can't get in for a month? Again, because maybe we're serving several hundred people.
Um,
Of course, we are over
Some
that
of
county.
them are, have, a little taken back, like, wow, that long, and I just let them know, we're really busy in here, but if we can accommodate you and get you in sooner. And we do have those emergency requests, right? Like if if a veteran gets a letter from the VA and it's a 30-day notice response, well, it's 30 days from the date of the letter, so by the time they get it, 1 to 2 weeks has already gone by. Those are emergency requests. I'm gonna fit you in my calendar wherever I can to accommodate those. So we're responding accordingly within that 30-day time frame. There are certain things that are they're gonna be emergencies that they're gonna have to be scheduled sooner, and Victoria is aware of that. Again, this is a learning process for her too. There's a lot to veterans
Mhm.
benefits, you've got the healthcare side of it, you've got the benefit side of it, you've got financial assistance. There are so many different aspects to our job. And so she's aware of this, and honestly, if any veterans, they know if they ever need anything to call our office, if they have a question on anything, if they need to reschedule or if they need to get in sooner, we always try and accommodate them to the best of our ability. So, but yeah, right now we're about a month booked out. And again, part of it is, Indiana is requiring every disabled veteran that receives that disabled property tax, to redo the updated state form, which has new amounts, new codes, new guidelines, all of it. So, again, like I said, just in the month of July, we did 118 property tax forms alone. We did have a table out of the county fair this year, and I think we did about 20 of them that week, so that was good. And again, we have plans to spend like half a day at the VFW, a half a day at the American Legion, solely focused on the property tax portion of it. You know, we'll meet you where we can. We also have our stand down event September 4th. That's coming up. We've got a seniors benefit seminar that's coming up on the 18th at the VFW. So we this year we've had a lot going on, a lot of different events that we've been trying to get out there. And again, it's really trying to meet our veterans when they can't actually make it into us, and just trying to accommodate our veterans to the best of our ability. Again, we continue to do home visits as well for those elderly veterans who aren't able to make it into the office. And like I said, I do not have it in my heart to turn anybody away from my office and say, I'm sorry, but we can't help you because you're not my county. So we're still going to help veterans. We don't care where you're from or where you serve. We're still going to help you.
Mhm.
But we are mindful of accommodating the veterans in our county and giving them priority over veterans from other counties. But again, we don't want them to feel like they're not going to be able to get help out of our office
Right.
either, when we've been consistently helping them as well. So,
Well, I think that there's some of us that are tenured, like Ray, and that know how you've moved that office forward. And when you're out in the community and you hear, or you're at work and they'll say, I've been working with Faith, and her office does such a great job for me. I haven't had that service, help, persistence, whatever,
yeah.
for years and years.
And we appreciate that.
Mhm.
We're not perfect, we're human. We all make
yeah.
mistakes, but
It's nice because it means a lot to them.
well, and the other side of it is, you're dealing with veterans who have been dealing with the VA for decades. They're frustrated, they're disillusioned, they're ready to throw their hands up in the air and say, I quit. And that's where we come in. A lot of the things that are published today, again, I served from 91 to 98. I had no idea you could file a claim for disability through the VA. Nobody ever said that to us when we were exiting the service. I think they've gotten better about that, but I still have veterans that served, before I even served, they're like, I didn't know I could file a claim for anything until my buddy so-and-so said to call your office, or, so word of mouth has been wonderful for our office. And again, we just try and help veterans to the best of our ability. There are some that there's nothing we're going to be able to do for you. One thing that we have stopped doing is discharge upgrades. And the reason for that is in IDVA last year, I brought this up at conference. When you're doing discharge upgrades, that's really, you're moving into the legalese of things. And while we are on that side of it because we're dealing with the legalese side of VA benefits, more often than not, you've got one shot. And if it gets denied, it's denied for the rest of your life. I do not want that on me. I don't want that on my conscience did I screw up this discharge upgrade for this veteran? So now that is the only thing that we are not doing any longer. We are handing those veterans over to Indiana Legal Services for that. So but we can still guide them in council and let them know, hey, you might want to gather this document or, get some letters from him, whatever the case is. That is the only thing that we are no longer doing, are those discharge
Mhm.
upgrades.
Do you know what your 3-year, 5-year plan is for the office?
So, I mean, we've consistently been growing our office, adding new things. I would love to eventually add another transportation vehicle, to be able to accommodate more veterans to and from their medical appointments eventually, if we're staying this busy, or get busier, obviously expanding our office and hiring another at least part-time service officer. As long as we're able to manage it, we're gonna manage it. But again, I don't want to feel like I am playing loosey-goosey with my time. And part of that is so right now I have a lot of comp time hours. I am trying to burn through those. But on the same hand, there are some instances where I'm gonna have comp time because I'm gonna get those emergency phone calls. I'm gonna get those, hey, I have a homeless veteran, we need to get him into a hotel room, those phone calls at 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. Weekends, holidays, so we're trying to be mindful of our comp time, but on the same hand, sometimes we don't always have the same hours, 8 to 4 as everybody else. Sometimes we're gonna have those additional hours because of those emergencies. Or late appointments. Again, we try and accommodate veterans who work full-time, 8 to 4 or 8 to 5, to be able to come in and, apply for some of those veteran benefits
Mhm.
that they're not able to because they work full-time.
Mhm.
So, really our 3 to 5 year plan is just to keep doing what we're doing, keep growing in the office, keep helping veterans and, growing our veteran transportation as well. We get a lot of phone calls from outside veterans outside of our county that we can't accommodate. So who knows, eventually, maybe if we have enough vehicles and drivers, we could help some of those other veterans out who, aren't able to get transportation out of their own counties. So we'll
And
see.
you personally?
I have transported veterans to VA appointments before personally. I've taken veterans to their compensation and pension examinations before. Those are examinations that are part of your disability claim process through the VA. And again, that's a mandatory. So for those veterans who maybe they are going in for, like PTSD and mental health, and they just need somebody to, kind of talk them through it, walk them through the process, calm those nerves or fears. I've done that before. So has Anita. We both have transported veterans to examinations, whether it's medical or for a claim. Again, we try and do whatever we can to help our veterans out as much as we possibly can.
So I'll frame it a little differently.
Okay.
Cause I know you're former military
Mhm.
and you have aspirations someday to, do things personally, maybe not be so engaged and involved with vets, because that is clearly it's a passion of yours and you're in the right one. Do you have plans down the road for?
I don't have any plans of leaving this position anytime soon
Right.
unless I
That's
drop dead of a heart attack or you guys let me go. I will stay in this position for as long as you have me. Again, I feel like this job has been an absolute blessing in disguise. I love that I get to work with veterans. I love that I get to help veterans. I have learned so much. And again, this is one job where you will never learn every aspect to it because there are so many new things that are being added. Guidelines are always changing. There's a lot of different resources out there, a lot of different programs for veterans. And again, we just, we try and stay on top of things as much as possible, looking at the federal side of it, state side of it, local, so I will honestly say I never envisioned working in a job that I had to deal with politics at any level. And now I'm dealing with all three levels, so, but that's okay, it's part of our job. But yeah, no, I'm absolutely honored, and again, just blessed to be able to do this job and to, help our veterans out. And again, I feel like it's helped me to grow as a person. It's helped me to be able to, look at other veterans, I think, in a different light than before. With more of an understanding of kind of what they're dealing with physically and mentally. So again, I'm grateful for
Well, our
this job.
community is blessed to have you, charge up that office.
And I absolutely appreciate that.
Yeah.
I really,
Probably heard a collective sigh of relief when you said you were gonna hang in there. I think she
Well,
was
I
like,
knew it was a passion, but that's where I was
Are you
drilling down.
gonna
to.
hang out with us for, well, please stay for 5-10 more years, you know, at
Please
least,
don't have a heart attack.
yeah.
I'm trying not to. I will be on vacation August 20th. I'll be back on the 31st. My mom has Alzheimer's, so I'm going home to help take care of her. But the office will be in good hands with Anita and Vicky. They know if there's an emergency, they can always contact me. And I'm saying this, because I'm gonna try and get, some of those numbers to you from outside counties. The count of veterans from outside counties as well as Kentucky. So you can see those numbers for yourselves of how many veterans from surrounding counties. Kentucky, we actually have a few from Ohio. I think we have got like 1 or 2 from Arizona, a couple from California.
And I can't imagine, I can't speak for everybody, I can't imagine those numbers won't impact budgetary decisions.
Yeah.
I just feel like it is something, knowing those we're growing a little bit, how that relates back, I think, to kudos to your office and the words praying that others want that help. I just feel like if it got to a point where a lot of county resources are being devoted and a lot of your time and or maybe having to delay local resident support, that, you know, if there's something again that we can do to push other counties to
Yeah.
improve their efforts, that's kind of where so don't spend any of your vacation time. We'd love to see those numbers eventually. We
So
don't need those before budgetary decisions are made.
we
Yeah.
kind of had a conversation with IDVA at our conference. One of the new personnel there, he used to actually be a district service officer, and before that, he was a county service officer. And we kind of let them know some of the issues we're seeing out of some of the counties that we're getting a lot of veterans from. So IDVA is going to implement a form. If we have a veteran that comes from outside of our county, they're to fill out this form. And it basically explains to IDVA why they're coming to our office seeking help, when they should be able to receive that same help out of their own county. So, and as Josh said, he says, you know, well, this could be good for you or it could be bad for you. And I said, I'm confident it's not going to be bad for us.
No, that'd be a good thing to put that is.
So, and, you know, and again, there are a few, I know we have several veterans that work in like New Albany. And so they'll stop by the Floyd County office and utilize them because it's on their way home from work, you know, those types of situations. And there are just going to be some veterans that you just don't mesh with. But again, you know, I don't get to pick and choose who I'm going to work with. So again, we strive to work with every single veteran that comes through our door. But, my goal will always remain focused on our Jefferson County veterans. They always come first and foremost. So I just, resigned my position as the Indiana Veteran Service Officer, treasurer for the state, because I'm trying to take myself out of things. I felt like I was doing too much, getting pulled away with too many other distractions. And don't get me wrong, these are all part of our job, but these are things that other county service officers can step up and step into those roles and help out. I did it for several years, and I just felt like if I can give up 2 or 3 things this year to really focus more on our veterans, their claim process, and helping them out. One of the things that did come out of our training with the PACT Act, when it was signed into law, it opened up so many different avenues for veterans to file claims. Firefighting foam, you know, mustard gas, all kinds of different things came out of it. And there's a lot of research that goes into our job. I'm not a doctor or nurse, so I've got to Google 90% of this kind of stuff. You know, what can, you know, radiation from a nuclear reactor, what kinds of conditions can that cause? You know, things like that. There's a lot of research. There's a lot of different bases that have a lot of contamination that we weren't aware of, not just Camp Lejeune. There's a ton of them. And again, trying to figure out, he's got this medical condition. Could this be caused by this contamination? So there's a lot of research. So there's a lot more time and effort that goes into our claims to making sure we're doing our research and doing our due diligence so that when we file these claims, they're getting approved and not being denied or kicked back because of a mistake that we perhaps made, you know. The VA can kind of be like the military. They're very wordy, so you can term something one way and they'll take it a different way when it's really, if you can term it a different way, but it's basically saying the same thing, they'll accept that. So
Yeah.
Well, you got young men and women that are considering, you know, serving their country in the military. And they want to know, if we do this, if we offer up our minds and bodies, are we going to be forgotten if something happens to us?
absolutely not.
And so what we can, people in this county say, no, man, you're going to be taken care of. We get support and Faith does such a good job. Those kinds of things help big time as far as even national defense, because we're trying to retain young people, get young people to join. And the question is, are we gonna be forgotten? And your answer is nope, you're not gonna be forgotten.
No,
You're gonna be
absolutely
supported.
not. Absolutely. And again, for a small county with limited resources, we do really well. Because you can look at some of the other counties that are, have about the same veteran population. I go by our veteran population and some of those other counties, so, who have about the same veteran population that we do. They don't have a transportation program. They don't do stand down events. They don't do a lot of the different things that we do. And the reason why we do these events is that our stand down event, I absolutely love that event. It's more of a military appreciation day. And again, it's a way for us to get out the resources to our veterans in our community, local resources, VA resources. But it's a day for us to celebrate our veterans and let them know, your community, you know, we love you. We appreciate your service and your sacrifice to our country. You know, and again, we provide a free lunch, we do gift bags, we do door prizes, but it really is truly about coming together as a community and celebrating our veterans and letting them know that there are resources within your own community that you can tap into. So that's one event. Again, you know, this year we had a table out at the fairgrounds, a resource table where we're able to update 20 of our veterans' property taxes. Again, we try and do a couple of senior benefits. Friday afternoon, we were out at the Jewel Place. Mr. Glenn Fisher finally received his Purple Heart. He's 99 years old. He'll be 100 on October 10th. And he's been working for decades to get this. So, and it just so happened it was on Purple Heart Day last Friday. So that was a nice little event.
Media attention.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I missed
Yep,
that.
and so if you can Google like Glenn Fisher, Purple Heart, Indiana, and it'll pop up. Yeah, there was some media presence too. It was really cool, actually. Now I don't know if there was official media there Friday. I know the mayor's office was there and they were taking pictures, and some other folks. The American Legion came. I think some folks from the VFW, and of course some friends and family of his. So it was just a nice little event. Super happy for him. 99 years old. Gosh darn it, finally got his Purple Heart. So yeah.
Not too many of those World War II guys and Korean War guys. I see the chart here. It's a sad thing to lose those guys.
I think they were saying we have about maybe 40,000 World
It's on
War II
late news.
veterans
Love
left.
that.
So yeah, yeah, that was
After
we are
11
losing
million
them.
in uniform.
Yep,
for that
Yeah.
much.
that's a lot of veterans. I think our oldest World War II veteran is Mr. McCubbin right now. So he's a gem in our community. I've transported him to some medical appointments, so he's fun.
People don't
But-
appreciate what a loss that is, that generation.
It really is, you know, different time, and a lot of service and sacrifice, and, luckily we haven't had another world war like that, where we've seen, you know, true struggle and devastation. I hope we never see that again in our lifetime, but, we're gonna be okay.
Yeah, those guys saved the world.
They did. They were lifesavers, literally, so.
I was just at the Grand Ole Opry and the Lee ladies came together for a girls' weekend trip to come. and my friend got to honor them. These three ladies were 86, I think I get this right, 86, 92, and 102. And the 102-year-old, her birthday was the next day, I think. And she was a nurse medic in World War II.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
awesome.
everybody in the whole, I mean, it's just like tears and cold chills and the funniest part was everybody kind of paused and you heard this voice say, Kristen, who drove? Like, how did those three ladies get here for their girls' week? I hope none of them drove. It was awesome. Yeah, it was really cool.
It's amazing.
So how many veterans did you say? You probably have it somewhere in your faith.
Last year in our office.
Right now in the county, would you say?
So in our county, so again, this is the GDX report from 2024. They have not updated the website with last year's, okay? So right now, according to the GDX, we have 1,598 veterans in our county. Again, I don't
You
think
don't
that's
think
an
that's right?
accurate number.
I think it's more or less.
I think it's more, honestly.
Mhm.
They are, our veteran population count has been loosey-goosey for the last 5 or 6 years since COVID, honestly, so.
feel
I
like
think-
there are several that have moved to Jefferson
Yes,
County.
we have. We've had a
Since
lot of
2020.
veterans that have moved into Jefferson County. We have had a lot that have passed away also, but, even then, that just seems like a big number to me to go
Said
from
it.
21 to
Well, back
15.
And.
No, those are so they take these numbers off of veterans that are enrolled in VA healthcare. As well as, that are in our computer system, our VetraSpec, account. So,
Yeah, is that, my three boys still have, this is home record, you know,
Yeah.
wherever, wherever.
yeah, so unless they're enrolled in
Yeah,
VA, I think that's where they're getting those from. The one other thing I wanted to say is, on the software and, the line item that I put in for computers and software. IDVA pays for one VetraSpec account. That is the computer program that we use when we are filing claims, doing all of our documentation, for VA. So consistently, we pay for Anita's account, and that has almost gone up to $600 a year. We would like to get an account for Victoria. If we have a new veteran that comes in, she can get their general information and get it set up for us in the system. And again, it's just take some of that busy work off of us so we can focus more on what we're trying to get done. And so again, part of that line item budget is gonna be for that additional VetraSpec account. So right now, between those two, that's $1,200 a year. So, and I think in previous years, we've taken it out of schools and conferences, which that budget isn't very much either, because again, this year, our conference was 4 days, 4 full days from 8 to 5 every day. And our hotel alone was $1,300, and that was not in one of the nicer hotels either. So we tried to do budget friendly. So we just don't have that kind of money built into our budget for a lot of that stuff.
Thank you, Faith.
Yes, thank you
Oh,
so much.
yeah.
You are very welcome. Very, very welcome.
Hear them hard.
Huh?
Hear that? All right.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Thank you, guys.
Enjoy your vacation.
I'm gonna try.
Bye.
See ya.
I'm just thinking it's over, so it's not behind his chair.
Are there still? I was sliding and I can't, just, I'm probably on the out camera. Somebody saw me do that. Or we're in that little fridge up front where there's still beverages.
There's water and regular Coke.
Yeah. There's a few right there, yes. Up front for $1 or whatever, or 75 cents or whatever it is.
Cause I have no money on me today.
They'll take
I can put double on tomorrow.
They'll take IOU.
My warm little water is.
Feel free to. I got cash, you want some money? Give me some.
I'm angry.
Hey, I owe you, take care of my wife and, put her through her paces.
I
She takes a nap when she comes
Her
home.
tough workout this morning. Oh, that's gonna be so fun.
Doing that bar, whatever you call it.
What is it about?
It's their day with you guys.
Hi.
It isn't about women never having a cat. But they're quickly grab your dinner from last year.
You know, it's so weird. Like it?
I think it's
Feel like I'm on trial. I don't like it.
I judged you.
Now you know how to
high
feel.
school.
Have a chair.
Yes.
You didn't bring your dog?
Huh?
We had a dog
No,
here
you-
earlier.
did you notice he wasn't barking?
Riley was here earlier.
Yeah.
He was in
He
there.
was-
Oh, good.
Yeah. He
Kudo
he was the
visits my
first our
office,
favorite,
yeah.
yes.
We enjoy him when he comes to our office, but he does. When people come to the counter, they suddenly get this feeling of like. They look at him like he's really scary, and we're just loving him.
Well, as long as you don't say the word
Yeah.
or words, everybody's good, right?
Yes. And he loves very well.
He loves their office
He loves,
because everyone gives him attention, so he goes from like one desk to the next.
and like
And
Taylor
back.
just comes and like backs up to you, like, you go scratch my back. Like,
Yeah. And
We
then you
love
see on
I
YouTube,
love him
he
too.
chases a perk down and
yeah, I just.
jumps at him from 100.
I remember we had,
Tackles him.
He will eat your face, but he is so sweet.
Yeah.
we had all those, first appearance hearings for that drug roundup we did. And Judge Moat had his dog down there. And you would just look up and the dog would be just kind of meandering through the crowd of inmates. Just, and then occasionally he'd realize that he had moved it out. Riley had gotten out into the crowd and he'd be like, back.
Riley's a good one.
He's a good boy.
Get the consciences out there.
Riley just likes attention.
Mhm.
And Riley listens more to her than he does DJ.
I play the mom voice, I say that's what it is all the time.
Yeah,
What?
Gotta use the mom voice.
DJ's dog, is that what you, follows your instructions?
Well,
Oh,
I think it's
100%.
just because dogs are, they're just my thing. I mean, dogs and horses.
I love dogs. I get to add another one to the
You gotta
family.
use
Just
the
love
Mom
them.
voice.
You just got mom
Make
voice.
somebody a move, so.
So you talk to
Man in the
people
corner.
and you're all sweet and quiet and then you mom voice them.
That's terrifying.
That's what my son does too.
I like the mom voice. I'd much rather have to
I
deal
did
with
tell
him than you if I was trying to run.
Changing your next
Because,
job.
Wouldn't you? Yeah. Would you rather deal with him than her if it came down to,
I don't think anyone in my house is scared of me anymore.
Otherwise, there's two restrooms in this place.
There's-
And
There's
one-
three.
the one, you go in the one,
There's
it's pretty
three.
Spartan. And you go in the other one, there's little gnomes and live, love, laugh, and I
You
go,
went in the
is
ladies'
this the
restroom.
women's? But it's like a family one.
you got a changing table in there?
There's technically 4
Where's the fourth one?
dispatch.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
On the other
Yeah, in
side.
a lot of time.
Can't manage it.
Yeah.
But it's super secret password.
Fine if you kept that board.
yeah,
That's
true
true,
for you
outside.
guys.
Yes, please.
All right, guys, are you ready?
I'm ready whenever you.
Passing around the motion here.
Sorry.
I'm just ready to hole punch so that we can add all those.
Oh, we did?
I said I need to. I forgot my big hole punch.
I'll try to remember when I go home tonight, not guaranteed unless I give myself a post-it note.
Right.
I won't remember. There you go. Right before the corner, right? No, Commissioner.
Number 5.
Number 5. Yeah.
360, is it 360? 380. 380. Kinda know it. And then they have other funds as well.
Are you guys ready?
We're ready.
All right, so what I handed out to you is a corrected form of the cover sheet that I submitted to Heather. There were some other adjustments that we will talk about as we go through the budget. that just kind of clarifies some of the separations that I was trying to make. So in 005, the only correction that I mistakenly made that I need corrected would be the mayor officer should have been 708,037. For some reason, I didn't even notice. that
Oh,
the
yeah, I was
requested
just marking it.
was down, so that correction needs to happen. Also, lieutenant is 1, not 2. Just in case somebody wanted to reflect that in the
Which one is it?
Yeah, we changed that and
11,480 of 005.
I'll change the name of that.
And the 708,037 is what was reflected for 2026, but.
Yes,
So that's correct again.
that would still have been the requested amount for 27. There was no adjustment. I think it took that 15,000 that I had transferred this year and had subtracted it, if I did the math right. And I just didn't catch it in the request. There were no other adjustments other than I did request out of 005 for the overtime to go from 45 to 60,000. As you can see in this year's budget with comp payouts, we have utilized almost all that money already.
So, and your logic for doing that is to try to manage that comp time.
So my idea between it is, so when people reach 200 hours, the only option I have is to then pay them out. Also, they can request comp payout at any time. So unfortunately, that has tracked us to be over what we requested in the budgeted amount this year. So just to kind of hopefully catch up next year, I just budgeted for that in advance. I also did that on 038 in the jail side.
And then
So just basically managing that better, trying to get it.
Well, and then anytime we pay out someone who leaves the department, we're paying out that comp hours, we're paying out those vacation hours, and they come out of that overtime budget.
And then at the end of the year, if there's leftover money, like say they go without a merit deputy for so long, they try to pay down comp balances
Yeah.
then as well. Just to,
Well, I will say we're probably in a much better position than we were 3 years ago.
count it out.
Significantly.
Yes.
And having that cap has made it easier. I mean, I have 4 people that are right at the cap, pretty much have been all year, so they've been consistently paid out for their overtime. And we still have kind of remained in that $60,000 range. So it's not as bad as it has been in years past.
Yeah.
So that was really the only adjustment there. I did request an 038, which is also in 1,000. For the control room, we added that 4th position. I had transferred money this year to cover that position out of the jail part-time budget. And I am requesting that we retain that position, which is what takes us to that 176 versus the 132.
Hang on just a second.
I know, I'm sorry, I probably changed. That's 038, not
So
005.
that's not 12, that's
380.
It's 0380.
Sorry, this is all in 1,000. And it's 0380. You see it?
Where's it?
Sometimes you'll know 3.
Oh.
It's right before, yeah, right before data centers.
Okay, so, yeah, okay.
And then she has the note over to the side that she added one.
Okay.
So that would take it to 4.
Takes it to 4 instead of
Okay.
3.
I need to.
And I can't remember when we added the numbers. 2 deputies or 3, it helps me usually.
I need to keep those updated, but occasionally.
We updated all of them last year. So this is accurate to now. It just isn't because we added mid-year that 4th spot.
And notate 6 jailers at 16.
Yes,
That's the same.
and I did reduce the part-time jail budget to 7,500 just to cover our cleaning person, but to help cover that cost of that 4th control officer position.
Awesome.
16 still working for you?
Yes. I mean, ideally, everyone would love to have more people, so if you would like to give us 4 more, I would happily
We'll take
take
them.
4 more.
The decrease in the part-time, but the increase, 20,000 increase in overtime.
Yes,
Or on the jail side, obviously, yeah. Not-
so that still has more to do with, the jail overtime also is an increase. And it was, jail increased from. No,
30 to 50.
45.
yeah, so, and that is, again, we pay out a lot of jailers as we rotate through them a lot.
Uh-huh.
So-
I see new ones all the time.
And unfortunately, with the fact that we now give vacation days at 90 days, guess what? I'm paying out 5 vacation days to people in 90 days.
Really.
Yeah.
So,
Like,
That-
it's a good thing.
it's a
to
good thing and-
recruit, but then when you get your frequent flyers, it's a horrible
Yeah.
thing.
I'm hoping that we are currently fully staffed in the jail, so I'm hoping that continues. And that we did a whole bunch of changes.
I've seen a difference in the last year.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good thing.
We
So,
made a lot of adjustments.
Trending
We
that way.
adjusted,
yes,
the control room is now on a 12-hour shift, so everyone that works the jail, other than the jail commander and the assistant jail commander, work that 12-hour shift.
Well,
So
remind me, who's the new jail commander?
Jesse
Jesse
Coombs.
That's right.
But everyone else works that 12-hour shift, which means they are now like assigned to that shift, which has allowed everyone, including that control room, to count towards that staffing for that shift, which hopefully will reduce the overtime and allow us to better budget for their time. Of course, like I just said, if you would like to give us 4 more, I will happily take 4 more.
Right.
But I understand that wholeheartedly, which is why I was not
Just throwing it out.
just throwing it out there. I will absolutely take a new person for every shift. On both sides, the road and the jail.
Well, I'm
Everything.
over at the women's prison frequently, and your name, Ben, has been dropped. Sheriff Flint is attending some of the meetings or whatever that's.
Oh, the community foundation.
Yeah, and they're obviously very aware of the salary changes that have been implemented over the last year. And they said we still beat you, but still, I mean, you
It's
know,
doing something. It's
Mhm.
definitely making a difference.
yeah,
Closing that gap.
yeah,
It was
getting
a
there.
big gap initially to close.
I mean, we
Oh,
were
yeah.
bleeding to death the first couple of years that I was
I
on
was gonna
council,
say-
like, we're losing them to the city, we're losing to the state.
Losing into the,
In my
DOC.
spreadsheet, I think that's one of the positions that I did go over the average.
I think, yeah,
Yes, I did a
Yes.
whole section on sheriff's department kind of, and the average for our similar population is about $50,848 a year, as where we're at 47. So there is still a gap to
Little catch up to do.
catch up but it's better than what it was
oh my gosh,
by a lot.
5.
Well, and we have longevity, which I think has definitely.
Right, and that's not factored into this.
Right.
This is just their base pay.
So the longevity has helped. I mean, you guys
It
hear
does.
that, yeah.
Well, I think we've heard across the board, we've done, pretty well at making that balance across the board and catching up to those other larger agencies. I would still actively ask for, a closer adjustment. As we all know, the jail commander pay is super high, and then the assistant jail commander is quite a bit lower. $8,000 difference between the two. So any kind of balancing of that would be
Let me get
great.
there and write that.
Lower the jail community.
And we're, but even in the comparison of some of our counties, you know, we're not sitting bad for the jail commander, obviously. still
No.
Substantially close to,
Correct.
close to $4,000 for jailers. So,
Right.
yeah.
I just mean that the difference between those
Is it in
positions
there?
is so high.
On your.
I didn't, no, it's not
Okay.
in my
And so you're just
breakdown.
hoping that
Mm.
that
Give something to think about. Huh?
Yes,
Mhm.
just a little more balance in that breakdown. The
Well,
assistant
the
jail
assistant
commander,
jail commander.
it goes from
just,
58 to 50,000.
Mhm.
I think last year we did that change on the roadside that made that a lot more beneficial, that breakdown where it was a little more
Mhm.
balanced between every promotion. And that's something that I feel like is missing in the jail side, that slight balance between taking a promotion and taking on that extra role.
From where they currently are.
Mhm.
What's the incentive, you know?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, because really even your lieutenant is only $1,000 less.
Right,
Yeah.
So why step up and be the assistant for $1,000?
With twice the liability.
Twice the liability.
and vice versa.
Of the,
That makes sense.
the section we are
Outside of obviously giving me more people, which would be great. I'll just keep throwing that out there. I don't actually think I have any additional in that, any additional changes in the county general budget. I take that back. PT commissary, we no longer use a in-house PT commissary, so that budget could go to zero.
It went to zero. Okay.
We do all outhouse commissary now through a CPC.
Okay.
And I think that's correct on the budget request.
It is, I took it from the 4820.
Awesome.
There were no changes in 1112.
So all others.
Thanks for your direction.
All, 11, 12, I believe it's just car, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think what's
Yes,
there.
that is just the contractual vehicles. There's no change to that at all. The price is the same and the contract is the same. And then 1138. Oh, I'm sorry. That was where cars was. 1112. I don't even think I have anything in that.
Maybe I just.
Jail expense?
Jail expenses, okay, so. That's for the old, that's for the new old jail.
I don't think I have anything in that fund anymore, even though it's sitting here.
So the jail expenses, that's the old one.
Right,
The
so
old
they
jail.
do not have anything in lit current.
Okay.
I think we moved everything out of lit. and-
Right, so that jail is for commissioner's jail.
Maybe you should change the name. of
Yeah,
that.
I'm gonna change that to
Just because it
2B.
says jail expenses.
I'm like, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not mine.
Whatever. No, it's the wrong jail.
So 1138 is sheriff's cars.
Okay.
Jail.
And
Alright.
that has not changed. That is contractual at 80,435. 1138 is the fund. And then my next one is 1142, which is the Coon Jail Fund, and this has a ton of changes.
Okay, hang on. What is it, 11 what again, 40?
1142.
Okay.
And just going from the top, the body scanner contract, which is 30001, has no change. Fingerprint scanner has no change. Sanitary sprays, I reduced to 3,000 from the 4,600, as we did not use that for this year. So just trying to get a better gauge for what that really looks like in the long run. Because we continuously have to have spraying and rodent treatment, but every year it's a little bit different. Like if we get a bug, then we have to clean the whole block.
Right.
That costs a lot. The next section, which didn't show up on my budget when I was putting it in is 30,005, which is the RFID contract. I did ask for 11,000 in that. The contract itself is $9,995. I don't know why it doesn't show up for me.
So it's at the very, very top of ours.
Yeah.
So,
It doesn't,
Didn't show up at all.
But it didn't,
yeah, there's not an amount in there. So how much?
that's because I can't see it on mine. So 11,000.
11,000. So you know what I think it is? We probably need to go in and open that account number for her.
Because I can see it when I pay
Add
it,
it to her.
but I can't see it when I do the budget for it.
It's, yeah,
and I know
we'll
this
open the
is
account. number.
small, but if the contract's $9,995, why would we budget 11?
Because
That's
we
11.
are required to purchase replacement bands and additional RFID chips whenever we run out. So that cost is ever changing. The contract itself is the 9,995, and that's just for the system. It doesn't give us any replacement chips, which for every new inmate, we have to have a new
A
chip.
new chip.
In a new wristband. And then sometimes wristbands get tore up and you have to replace it.
The next section is 30,025, which is jail maintenance. Last year, we kind of bunched all of the contracts into one. I wanted to make it a little more balanced or correct to show a more adequate, like, this is exactly what we're paying for this maintenance and preventative maintenance contract. Because some of those things we don't have a choice to pay, and some of them are like a broken window or something that happens inside of the jail. So to do that, what I was requesting is that we either rename or create new funds for the Nix power contract, which is the generator. Atom Chemicals, which is our like water testing. Mitsubishi, which is basically the power system that keeps all of our IT stuff cool. Siemens contract, which is the fire suppression contract. HMC jail PM contract that covers the air handlers, boilers, ducts, water cooler, freezer, refrigerator, basically the air chillers for the jail, the entire jail itself. And then the PM plumbing contract, which covers obviously all of our plumbing and yearly maintenance on that system. So what I did is I separated those out to the best I could. And then I just kind of lined them out for each of us. It doesn't actually change the amount in total for the request for the year, but we'll just go through them individually. So for the jail maintenance, I requested 41,500 to be left in that account to cover any incidental things, broken doors, broken windows. For the Nix power contract, that is a $10,443 contract. It's paid yearly. It was a 5-year contract signed when we entered the facility. The Atom Chemical contract is $1,500. The Mitsubishi system, the fire system, is $6,792 a year. If we ever have to buy the batteries, in case anyone didn't know, I have the contract for that. It's about 18 grand. They go bad about every 5 years.
So we need to go ahead and budget that next year.
No, we already paid for it this
We already
year.
paid for it this year. Okay.
The
It
fire,
would be smart to budget
yes,
every year.
but they said they should last us 5 years. So we just purchased them again. So we shouldn't have to rebudget for those additional batteries until the end of that 5-year cycle or towards the end of that 5-year cycle. So that's just the contract for their maintenance. And I have all the contracts. I brought them all with me in case anyone needed to see them. And then the fire suppression system is $38,989.99 for this year. Well, for 2027 to 2028. That HVAC contract is $45,980. And then the plumbing contract is $12,424. And somewhere in here I wrote the total. But it comes to $157,399 in contracts. Not including the body scanner, fingerprint scanner. So I didn't add those in there, or RFID, sorry. Those weren't in.
Fingerprint, that's correct, for 2,500.
Yes, so we did get a new fingerprint scanner, brand new one, but we've got that on in France. And I have not received that maintenance contract.
And the body scanner, that's 8,500 yearly.
So it was contractual for service and it increases. We asked the commissioners, and instead of staying with that contractual service agreement, we can pay as we go with that system. So if something breaks, we can have it fixed and repaired versus having the service contract, and that was what was chosen. It was a significant increase in price.
Yeah.
So I left it 8,500 is what the contract was when we originally got the body scanner. So far, knock on wood, it hasn't broken. That's a lot. Yes.
Well, the fire alone is required by the state fire marshal's office to have that inspection done every year, so. That one you're. With that VESDA system.
The most cost of being HVAC. Like how long, for example, would that contract be? Just give us.
Let me tell you.
Brought them all with you. I don't necessarily want to read, but.
So the HVAC contract is 2 years. And it is $11,495 per quarter. Which comes out to $45,980. It does, I can show it to you. This is the list of items that it covers within our facility.
Man, after 2 years, or just
Well, we
using them again, or?
We have been funding this the whole time. It has, so these contracts aren't new. They were just ballooned all together in that jail maintenance contract line.
I'd much rather see it separated out like this.
So would I, because then it gives us a very accurate picture of what we are using and exactly what we are using it for, which is why I separated them. I know that it makes it a lot more confusing for all of us because they don't have lines for me to add them to. But all of these contracts are contracts we already have and have had since entering the facility. So they weren't new items, they were just ballooned together in jail maintenance. So I think it's up to you guys what you would like to fund, and then we'll figure out how to revamp if we need to revamp any of them. The only ones that would be new to this coming year, we need to re-up the bronze contract for just Mitsubishi, which is that $6,792. If we choose not to do their contract, their service contract, we have to pay a non-discounted rate for the batteries. So I also have the battery replacement.
They go hand in hand.
So the battery replacement cost is $18,840.72 coupled with, it has to go with the bronze contract or I have to reapply for the batteries themselves. So if we don't want to do this, then I just need to get an adjustment for the batteries. That would be a new 2027 budgeted item. Because our batteries are dying. So it only matters to me this year because I have to pay for the batteries this year. So if we're not gonna do the bronze contract, I need to pay for the other ones. At the increased rate. Like I said, the Nixon contract, that generator contract was a 5-year contract, service contract, when we entered the facility. So that hasn't changed. It has stayed that $10,443.
So that's this one you said there were two that were up for renewal.
The
The Mitsubishi,
Mitsubishi,
the 6,000, and then the other being the generator.
so the generator was a 5-year contract, started in 2024.
No, so that one's not up.
Mm-mm.
I thought you said the Nixon.
No. The Atom Chemical is yearly, so we can exit that contract at any point. But it is only,
1,500.
well, it's $125 a month for them to service our water system. And
It's
then,
for the boilers, to make sure the water is balanced, pH balanced, and it doesn't destroy the boiler.
Can a local company do that or not?
I don't know that there is a local company
Adam?
that does the boiler.
Atom Chemical,
That's who does the courthouse and the old jail too.
yeah.
Yeah,
It is like the one in our area that does it.
So the Mitsubishi one is one that would renew for 2027. And then I believe both the HMC contracts are to renew this year with the price going into 2027, 2028. So both of those HMC contracts, plumbing and HVAC, are new contracts for 2026 to 2027, 2028.
The HVAC and what was the other one that were?
Plumbing.
Plumbing.
Okay.
That plumbing slash fire,
Uh,
45,980.
the 45,000 one is the jail PM contract. So that is HVAC, boilers, all that internal. And then
Yeah,
fire suppression is
41.
separate.
Okay.
And that one is a 3-year contract. It is also up for renewal in 2027. So it would be 27 to 28, 28, 29, 29, 30.
yes.
Very.
Like I said, for the most part, that budget is actually similar to all the years past. It's just broken down to more appropriately.
Was that 7 contracts?
Well, 7 contracts plus. We will have a new contract for the body scanner. Or not the body scanner, I'm sorry, the fingerprint scanner,
But that's just building maintenance, right?
building maintenance. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. I count 6. But I couldn't even, oh, 7.
So,
Yep. Wait. I still only count 6. I only count 6. I'm sorry.
But you're right, that does not count the body
That
scan.
was the
or the finger.
445,000, right? It was all lumped together.
So all lumped together, not including, but I think I actually broke it down. Let me give you a more accurate cost. Not broken down.
So. HVAC is broke out. Refrigerator, freezer. The 35,000 for Central Square.
there's the miscellaneous disbursements. The body scanner at 8,500. Sanitary spray at 3,000, the fingerprint at 25.
Are we? On the refrigerator freezer contract. We're just updating that, changing the name. And
Changing the
updating
name.
the name and updating the contract amount.
And updating the cost, yeah. So my idea, the reason I wrote it the way I wrote it is because I don't know how easy it is to just change the names to appropriately fit line items that are already open versus create a whole new line.
So I can change the names easily enough, as long as it's not a account number. Like, I highly doubt that we have one called sanitary spray in any other department that's being used, but maybe. But yes, I can change the names as long as it is not in another department. I have ran across one that was like, I don't know, it was called secretary, and we changed it to a name. And then they were like, why is this person being paid from and we realized that account number was used twice.
So
I think these are good.
what my goal would be for basically that Simplex contract to turn into the Nixon contract, the
Mhm.
elevator contract to turn into Adam contract, Crosspoint to turn into Mitsubishi, fire suppression to turn into Siemens, and then the HVAC contract to be named HMC Jail PM contract, because it does encompass more than just HVAC. It's covering HVAC boilers, it's covering the walk-in freezer and the refrigerator system. So it is a little more encompassing, and then take that freezer contract, not to confuse anyone, and change it to jail plumbing. Since the refrigerator freezer is covered in the PM. That was just how my brain worked.
Perfect.
And
I'll go.
obviously, we don't want to have
Send me a new
to
copy.
waste military by reprinting budget books even after it's in, right? Can
I'll
we
get a new
print
page
copy of this
after, yeah.
page,
Yeah.
42, after we rename and cut? That'd be
So
great.
really, when you add those numbers up, there's not really any change. in
There's
that.
not, it's
I
actually
just
like
have a little
$9.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you add the numbers up, it's like a $9
Yeah.
difference.
Cause I was
The
thinking,
budget itself didn't change, except for the fact that I removed $1,000 from sanitary spray.
yeah,
Just didn't-
1,600.
I just didn't think it was, 1,600. I just didn't think it was necessary to continue. Now, I say that, and the next thing I know, I'm gonna have some bug that requires spraying. So that was the most confusing one of all of them, and it's like I said, just because I want to make it not so confusing later. So I think it would be easier for somebody, not me, to read it and understand what we're paying for. And
Right.
specifically understand what we're
Yes.
paying for.
yes, I agree.
And then.
And it took time to do. it.
70, that's not a cum.
That is
The,
1170 split public safety.
yes.
1170 is under all other.
And in 1170, I am requesting an increase in the sheriff's retirement. I did bring that with me. They give us that estimate with our paperwork every single year. It did increase.
Sections within 1170.
Sorry, all other 1170. So that amount fluctuates year to year depending on paper service, depending on the account itself. So they send it to us. So this year it was 313,952 versus the 305,645. Then I basically just did some number shuffling. I got a letter from our jail health contract. They are gonna increase our cost again. So I basically took what I have been doing in the past couple of years is we have budgeted for the food service contract at its highest rate so far. We haven't needed that fund, so I just transferred it to cover if we've had a shortage in the healthcare coverage. So what I did is I transferred 25,000 to basically help cover that cost in the jail health contract increase. And then Lexipol contract, that is just a percentage increase that we get. That is our policies and procedures that we receive from Lexipol. And then the only other thing that I have is utility. And I just asked for an increase in that, just based on the increase in cost in Duke. Favorite place.
Right, I think we're scheduling in our area to get the increases for the next 2 years
Mhm.
and what they've applied for the utility commission, from what I've seen.
So. I just try to keep up as best possible.
Laura?
Yeah.
On the, back to the jail healthcare, it went from 685 to 710. What was that? You took that from some other place? You
I
said?
took it from the food service contract.
Okay, I got you. Okay. Okay, that's the 25,000 less. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Why is it that we added in that Lexipol, Lexipro again? I mean, cause there's been
Before
some
us.
piecemeal
I think it was during Dave's term.
Yes, before.
policies and procedures, which
Yep.
obviously is important. I'm not doubting that. Obviously, it's not cheap. I mean, as it costs the county but it's important, it's necessary. I was just curious, are there even other vendors that
Yes.
provide such service?
And we
or-
are waiting, for the Sheriff's Association. They have a new Indiana state policies and procedures, both jail and roadside, that they are basically vetting. So we are waiting to see what they turn around with that for the road. To see if there's a cost difference, to see if we can get in with a different price.
Do you want them to redo or still those changes?
Not that I wanna do that, but.
That. Hmm.
Yeah.
And if it's something that they deem. I mean, they're looking at it from their side, which is great, but that would be Indiana in total, so they're looking at all sheriff's offices across the state and whether that would be applicable to them. So that is something that they sent out earlier this year, and so we're gonna look into that as soon as they finish vetting through that process and.
Okay.
So we should have a better number, I would say, for that by the end of this year, first of next year, as to whether they think that's a go. They do, I think they were pushing the jail one for this year
There's
first.
Some out that they're doing like pilot programs with right now.
With certain counties, so.
Yeah. Well, and they really pushed the jail side first, so the jail policies and procedures are separate from the road policies and procedures. So they pushed out the jail side first, which we did actually sign up for. Once that pilot's through, to look into getting those for our facility.
I would brag and never said the same thing to Brandon and it's not. This time and place to compare. Current leadership to past, but in general, I can tell you there've been previous years where the jail and the sheriff budget. Sessions like this. Made everybody want to throw up. Including on both sides of the table. Yeah, just hard to sometimes get a grasp on, or just finding things that need to be corrected, or just not organized, or surprise issues. Kudos.
Spreads.
Yeah.
There they are.
Not walking out here mad today.
Yeah,
Surprise.
kudos.
Would like you.
It's- That was meant as a compliment.
We know you guys, your passion is in law enforcement.
Issues.
But thank you for your administrative abilities. That is such a help to us. I know your eyes must cross sometimes dealing with all these numbers. You're an accountant and a.
Spends a lot of hours on it, that's for sure.
Very well laid out.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'd like it just to be clear cut for when I'm not here and no one has to do what I did. which is fine then.
Yeah, you earned your money that first.
I know what it is.
Yes, and then some.
I just think in the maintenance, just cleaning up the maintenance contracts and just having line items where it makes it clear as. Should make it easier and you won't forget one of them maybe, because if you had them all grouped together, you're like, "Oop."
Yes, exactly.
Just finding unpaid invoices that were 8, 10 years old.
Yeah, I'm still muddling through all of that, so you never know. That's why I tried to break them down, because then we all know, like, if we decide not to continue with something, everyone knows what that cost looks like.
Mhm.
Versus it all being muddled together into one fund, and then I don't even know where it came from.
The auditor lists for new accounts, new account numbers.
Hey, I didn't actually create any new account numbers. I left them all with open account numbers. I just cleaned up the old jail and stuck them into the new jail.
Old new.
I know it's so hard to keep track of.
Remind me. Axon is our taser.
No, Axon is the body camera.
Yeah,
So
body
the,
camera.
the contract that's in there is the body cameras. The tasers are paid off. They have been. Since we fixed.
Found
The
the
taser
taser
mess.
contract.
Right.
So we have two taser
Mhm.
contracts.
Now, will those ever need to be updated or?
So yes, at some point they will need to be updated. We did talk about that briefly earlier this year. We did decide to postpone because Taser is ever developing and so are all the rest of these programs. So, we did postpone that until we get closer to the end of the actual contract, which will be
Okay.
next year.
Can I have your old ones?
No, because I'm gonna recycle them. It's gonna make someone give me money for
You
them.
gotta use them for practice, don't you?
My
Whoa,
wife
so
works
Taser
at home tech now.
will actually give you
Money back.
refunded money for your old equipment to a certain degree. So that's what we were looking at numbers before, whether it was better to keep them, use them in the jail, buy all new ones. Let me tell you, the cost of all new ones is crazy.
Scary.
They are also trying to push people towards like a 10-year contract, which I'm very against, but of course that is the way to get the lowest price. However, so much changes in that 10-year period, I just don't feel like it's worth it. And so we postponed it until we get to the end of this contract, then we'll reevaluate. That'll put us closer to the end of the body camera contract. We did just get our update in body cameras, so I don't know if everyone remembers, but when we did the body cameras, it included what's called a refresh, which means basically that if Axon comes out with another product while you're in contract, they then give you an updated version. So they of course did right after we got our body cameras. Axon 4 came out, so we now are eligible for the refresh. So we just got our new body cameras that we're about to switch the whole department over to.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what that, the 10 years contract looks like on tasers. They were outrageous 4 years ago.
It was in the millions. Yeah. Hence the reason I just said. Just gonna wait.
Don't think so.
Any new news in the fleet?
For vehicles,
Yes.
We just got rid of 3 old cars, a couple weeks ago, so. It's always a plus.
we did get all the insurance money and one truck is still down getting repaired in Kentucky to go back onto the road. That was from that vehicle
Nice.
accident where the guy slid off the road and hit both of our officers. So both of those vehicles are about to be on the road.
Awesome.
Do you have anything more for us?
Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions?
Fully staffed?
Going once.
No, we're one short. On the road and we were fully stopped in the jail. We do have one leaving the jail soon. I think at the end of this pay period.
How many inmates do we have right now?
165.
155,
165.
165.
As of this morning, we had a new admittant, so.
So
It
once
gets
again,
kind of crazy over there when you guys bring in, like, I was over there when there was a drug. And I was like, I don't think I'm getting in here for a while. Cause I got back there, but then there was all those people and I was like,
waiting.
Yeah.
That's what, if you would like to give us 4 more employees,
We could
feel
use them.
free.
We would definitely like to. We would love that.
yeah, I was like, wow,
We would love
it was popping.
a lot.
Or 2. I'm not picky.
And I think I picked the wrong time, like from 3 to 4, cause that's about the time that they're serving meals.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I'm ready to go.
I mean, technically, I did ask for you to give me 1 because I did ask for you to keep my jail control officer, which I very much appreciate. Cause that's the only reason I was able to put everyone on 12-hour shifts.
Was that the 4th person in the control room?
Mhm.
So that made a big difference.
It makes a huge difference because it allowed us to put a control officer on every shift. So we weren't trying to fill a 12-hour void, or for us, we had weekend void. So we covered the shifts throughout the week when it's super busy because everyone's coming in and out. And then on the weekends, there would be a void for both day shift and night shift that you were trying to cover with a control officer.
Like,
It's not saying there's still not a void, because if somebody takes off or the control officer takes off, they still have to backfill that spot. But it is easier for them to manage because they get to, that supervisor gets to see the control officer as a counted number on their shift. So they know, yeah, that guy can be off, or no, he can't.
I will tell you, just being in the jail more frequently has opened my eyes to just all the intricate working in and out and how all that
the control.
folds together and checking each inmate every so many minutes and, swiping in to make sure that that's documented and.
Yeah, the control room is highly underestimated. They are the air traffic control of the jail. They answer all the phone calls coming in, deal with all the court and, people going in, people going out, running all the doors, answering the phone calls. So it's a lot for one person.
Which public safety can pay for employees for the jail, if that is something you guys wanna look at.
What can I do again?
Let's say page 1170, when we established that it could be used for anything, including salaries and wages. We just have not done that at this point. We stuck mainly to set expenses. That being said, there's probably set expenses in county general that could be moved to free up money if we needed to.
So if that's so, what would be the wish on that?
I would at least like 2 jailers. That'd be great. Cause that would give us an extra body, at least on day shift, when it is, as you've seen, the busiest.
Oh, yeah.
2 more or 1 more?
2.
2.
So they cover
Always.
both shifts.
Yeah, so we could cover both day shifts. So,
And of course, I just have a husband that was in law enforcement, but never in that arena, like controlling that area. And, I will say that it seems sometimes like it's just really, really thin.
it just.
And I know you have it staffed. I know that they're there, but I mean, it's just,
a big building for.
it's a big building. There's a lot to be responsible for. There's all these time constraints that you cannot miss. Cause, one of the jailers was telling me, if for some reason my card does not, when I swipe it and it's not logged, then they have to go back through the whole process within a certain time frame. And I was like, well, how do you get to A to B? I mean, that in your allotted time. They were like, enlightening me to some of the situations that.
Big safety insurance too.
Yeah, well, and
Well,
I'm
that's-
not saying to go away from that at all.
Well,
But
that's
I'm
why we
just
went to
saying
that,
The extra, yeah,
that
the
new
extra,
system, to
yeah.
do that scanning,
Yeah.
to make sure that we were getting those coverages.
and it's just so, it's like, wow, they're really busy.
And
very
they're still
busy.
learning how to use that system,
Mhm.
so anytime that there's a mistake, there's a lot of,
Yeah, and they were not complaining,
no,
but
they're,
it's,
just
you know,
a
'cause
learning curve.
it's covering them,
Yes.
but, it's just a lot. It was really a lot.
I remember when you guys first moved over there and Ben you went up to the board and said we need at least one here,
Oh,
just
yeah.
for safety
Yeah.
reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of give you, a reality check on how big that place is and how
Yeah.
where people need to be to keep them safe. We need to keep them safe too.
Yeah,
I mean,
I wasn't kidding when I said I would love to have 4 more, like, I would literally love to have one for every shift, though I'm a reasonable person and I realize that that's a huge ask, like, I'm not an unreasonable human being. So I will take whatever I can get in asking for it, but when you add in and factor in people's time off, we should have more staffing. But I think every position would say the same thing. When you factor in people's time off, everyone needs more staffing.
But the difference is if my girls all take the day off,
Well, yeah.
I just pull out an extra computer and set at the counter and they're not gonna wait.
We don't have that luxury,
Right.
No,
but I mean, that would obviously, the jail is probably the biggest priority when it comes to having more staffing. I always look for funding for the roadside. There are grant opportunities to fund the roadside. There's not as many grant opportunities to fund the jail side. There are some. But all I can do is keep trying for them and going down the path.
Just go public and they want it that way.
Just looking at, I mean, obviously in a dream world, you have more staff and they're paid what they deserve. Knowing again, when we're taking a look at some, kind of average salary and for the most part comparison, obviously separating the roadside, but looking specifically at jailer in comparison to similar counties, there's a big disparity. Like I said, we're about almost $4,000 short than the average. So I in the, certainly it's most likely decision for this, group of 7, but wanting your input, if there was this much money that could be used out of public safety, would that be better as far as turnover and all the headaches that come with that? To see that pay gap changed a little bit and utilize funding that way? Or no, I'll take 2 more.
Or both.
And I know your staff's not listening, like, vote for my raise, but I mean, I guess I'm just curious your input.
I mean, that's a fair question because realistically, as a supervisor, my heart says I would love for my people to be paid an adequate amount. However, in a functional side, the bodies would be more, that would be more of what I would ask for. I think that everyone needs to be paid that fair and adequate amount, but we also need to be able to run. Like, the jail has to run. There's not an option there for us. We can't.
Would
We
it
can't-
cut back on comp time?
It would absolutely cut back on comp time.
It cost savings for us.
cause if somebody calls in sick, you wouldn't have to pay for somebody to cover
Straight
it.
over.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Good question.
that would,
Little for me, James.
that would be something I would definitely be willing to compromise out of my requested budget and take back my comp hours for my overtime request and add people bodies.
That's very, yes.
And then, cause like Monday through Friday, you have court, 2 rounds of court. You have, all your medical going on during the day, your lunch, your breakfast preparations, JCAT classes, transports, etc. And some days you're doing that with only 2. So if your control room person calls in sick, then you have to take somebody off the floor, put them up there. So then that cuts off your 4 people, so.
The juvenile detention, I know there's right now, you guys have to transport. How much will that help with manpower when that gets up and running? You guys not having to run back. I don't know how many times a month or year you have to do that, but you won't.
Hit or miss.
Huh?
I think it'll depend on, I know that there was conversation of them helping with like all kinds of transports, not just juvenile transports. And of course, I think that's something that we'll look into in conversation as that gets up and running.
Closer to operation.
We don't do, when we do juvenile transports, they're really far and they're really long.
Yes, and it takes a lot of people out of the
Yeah.
system.
But luckily, typically they're not all the time. So it's little groups of time that we do those transports. It's not as frequent as our regular inmate transports.
And it's more than one trip for one person.
It's always more than
You
one
could be
trip.
Going to Fort Wayne, right? Or up in that area,
Yeah.
that's all day. Yeah.
Yes, so I think it will be beneficial, and I know that he was talking, like, we briefly talked a little bit behind one day, that they were really looking into potentially doing more transports than just the juveniles. So, well, I guess we'll see what that looks like when we get to that point, if that's something they could actually facilitate.
You guys have anything else for these guys?
Glad we had a little bit more discussion.
I am too. Comp time.
Yes, I've read that down.
Comp time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yes, definitely, thank you.
Mhm.
Are we gonna be done meeting for the day, or do you want me to keep, are we gonna discuss anymore?
Do you guys have anything else you want to discuss? Or pick it
Or
up
revisit,
tomorrow?
or are we just done for the day? Have
Say
to
we're
know
done for-
before I,
Turn off, yeah.
We can't really
Mm-mm.
dig into it till we know what the final tallies are. Then start.
Well, I'd like to entertain a motion. So moved right there. I'd like to entertain a motion to conclude the meeting suspend the meeting for today.
It's been nice.
Suspend the meeting for today. And we'll pick up tomorrow at 8 in the morning.
it am.
Did you, and Ray said so moved. So I have a second.
Me,
All right.
for raise and raise.
Raise. All in favor?
We'll have Josh, coroner's office.
Okay, should be Thursday.